Hello, class. I am Donna Orvis, your instructor, and this is Quiz 1 Review covering chapters 6, 18, and 20. The study of the connections between our bodies and the foods we eat is nutrition. Blank continues to be the number one workman's compensation claim. That is repetitive motion injury. Nutrients required in the greatest amounts, such as water, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, are macronutrients. A condition caused by computer use, marked by tired and sore eyes, blurred vision, headaches, and neck, shoulder, and back pain, is computer vision syndrome. Computer vision syndrome is very, very common, and here are some ways to alleviate that. Try the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for about 20 seconds. Make sure that you have good lighting and that your workstation is ergonomically correct, meaning that your chair is in the right position and that your computer is at the right height for, for your eyes. Also, if you start to have ongoing problems with your eyes, you should consult an optometrist. And very, very important, take regular breaks to rest your eyes, stretch your body, get some water, go out into real sunlight. All those things are very, very helpful. The time when a woman's menstrual periods stop for 12 consecutive months, marking the end of the reproductive stage, is menopause. This life stage, various physical changes occur, including wrinkles, the person's hair thins and grays, there's a loss in muscle mass called sarcopenia, and a reduced bone density known as osteoporosis. All of this describes aging. Any activity that humiliates, degrades, or poses a risk of emotional or physical harm to join or maintain full status with a group describes hazing. This is a common practice in Greek fraternities and sororities in four-year and Ivy League universities. Leaves, stems, skins, seeds, and hulls are non-digestible forms of complex carbohydrates known as dietary fiber. You find these uh, elements in beans, lentils, broccoli, berries, avocado, popcorn, and chia seeds. All of these foods are high in protein and fiber, and they help to boost the natural microbiome in one's body, helping us break down foods more effectively and also allowing the body to receive the nutrients that we eat. Okay. Sharing images or videos that contain sexually explicit content digitally, such as text, email, apps, and social media, are sexting. This is a what's called a portmanteau term combining sex and texting. And those who partake must remember that anything sent digitally has a permanent footprint. The transitional phase before menopause, during which a woman's hormone levels fluctuate, leading to changes in menstrual cycles such as hot flashes and irregular periods, is perimenopause. And perimenopause can start in a woman's 30s, but also span until she's about 50. Okay. Unwanted sexual attention is sexual harassment. So this is typically a scenario that occurs between a male superior and a female subordinate. However, it can be the other way around. Women can also be the aggressor. But this sexual harassment can also occur between coworkers at the same level, and it can also occur between teachers and students. Okay. About 50% of people diagnosed with blank have underlying Alzheimer's disease and go on to develop Alzheimer's dementia within 5 years. That's mild cognitive impairment. Salmon is a great example of omega blank. However, for omega blank, a carton of eggs would be appropriate. We're talking about omega-3 and omega-6. Okay. This neurodegenerative disease is the most common form of dementia, and we've just talked about it, accounting for around 60 to 70% of cases. We're talking about Alzheimer's. As the disease advances, symptoms can include problems with language, disorientation, mood swings, loss of motivation, self-neglect, and behavioral issues. Every case is different, however. Margarine and shortening are commonly used in pie crusts and are made with man-made partially hydrogenated oils. These partially hydrogenated oils are known as trans fats. Trans fats are not good for our bodies and it should not be consumed at all or at least minimally. This healthcare document is known as a living will. That's an advanced directive, also known as an advanced healthcare directive. This directive specifies what action should be taken if, in the event a person's health starts to suffer, if they're no longer able to make decisions for themselves, they become incapacitated, then an advanced directive is the way of communicating how you want things to go. These substances help put carbohydrates, fats, and proteins to use, and they're essential to regulating growth, maintaining tissue, and releasing energy from foods. We're talking about vitamins. So vitamins, our bodies require 13 vitamins daily, and those vitamins are A, C, D, E, K, and the B vitamins, B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 12. The amount that we need varies by the type of vitamin, but it also varies by our age. So our nutritional requirements change as we age. Behavior such as rape or sexual coercion that violates the right to choose when and with whom to have sex and what sexual behaviors to engage in is non-volitional sex. This can range from incestual relationships to domestic violence relationships. This type of rape is ignored or even legally condoned in many countries. We're talking about marital rape. So I'm going to read to you the definition of rape. It's the penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or the anus with any body part or object, or oral penetration by a sex organ of another person without the consent of the victim. That's the definition of rape, and it absolutely applies to marital situations. The experience of someone being physically brutalized and forced to have sex in their relationship. That's one definition. But the definition also expands to include when two or more people are being abused. That could be siblings or a mother and child, and so on. We're talking about co-victimization. This philosophical term means climbing or going beyond. That is transcendence. But it also can be described as when someone says that they've had an out-of-body experience and they've passed into a foreign region, maybe going through clouds or something like that, and then they come back inside their bodies. That is another description of transcendence. The practice of intentionally ending a person's life, typically with a lethal medication dose, to relieve suffering, often in cases of terminal illness. This is known as euthanasia. Euthanasia can be passive, voluntary, or non-voluntary, where someone just takes your life without your consent. Lacto, ovo-lacto, pescatarian, vegan, and flexitarian are types of vegetarian diets. However, only one of these diets excludes eggs. That would be lacto-vegetarians. These vegetarians exclude meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs, but they eat other dairy products such as yogurt, cheese, and milk. Foods fertilized with plant-based substances or without chemical formulas are organic. The USDA criteria for certification as organic food is as following. Foods that are processed or preserved only with substances approved by the USDA for organic foods. There's no use of genetic modification or ionized radiation, no use of most synthetic chemicals such as pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizers, fertilization without sewage sludge, food producing animals grown without medication such as antibiotics or hormones, animal living conditions like in a natural habitat, and the animals are fed organically. All of that is necessary for foods to be considered organic. Finally, the extra credit question is generated from the California Shield laws. That was an assignment a couple of weeks ago. So just review that assignment and you should do fine on the extra credit question. All right, good luck, and I will be talking to you all very soon.